And it won't negate the total impact of operating a yacht, but it has a measurable and important contribution. So it's the why not. In my mind, like, why not be doing this?
Yeah. This is the Ben Taylor Podcast, the home of marine industry insights. Enjoy. Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Ben Taylor Podcast. Today we're on a beautiful boat, Perla Bianca, that's registered for sale with Arcon Yachts. So thank you to them for hosting us as a venue. And today we're going to talk about a few different things with Matthew here from FarSounder. So Matt, good to see you first of all.
Nice to see you, Ben.
And tell me what we must talk about, because it'll be interesting where this podcast goes.
Well, we've been talking a lot about allowing vessels to go places safely, so accessing exclusivity for their guests on board, which is great. You know, it's a product thing. But I really want to talk about how any type of vessel in the yachting industry can bring purpose to what they're doing. So it's not just a vacation; it's a greater experience, citizen science, and of course, whale poop.
Okay, so on the sense of purpose side,
Yeah.
Is that mainly for the crew, for the owners, the charterers, everybody?
I think it's for everybody. So we're in this marine industry because we have something that draws us to the water. And recently I've been thinking a lot about whales, talking a lot about whales, and they've been the subjects of like stories and poems and songs and art for hundreds or thousands of years. So like there's something that draws us there.
Yeah.
And we're all there because we want to experience that. But if we don't do anything differently, that environment is not going to be the same tomorrow as it is today, because it's already different than what it was yesterday. And so there are lots of ways that beyond just doing the vacation time on the yacht, you can include other things, whether it's citizen science, bringing on special measurement tools beyond what's already on board the boat.
Okay,
normally.
and what impact does that have? So if you have those tools, what can you do? What's the benefit of doing that?
Well, the simplest things are citizen science initiatives, where that is anybody in the world taking part in these global efforts to learn something or study something or monitor something like the health of the environment. And in the marine world, there's a couple of really easy things to do. When I think about science on board, there's 3 levels. The first level is we already have this equipment for navigation that you need to have anyway, and they're collecting a lot of information that could be valuable to a lot of initiatives.
Yeah.
And normally you just see it and throw it away. But if you can collect it, store those observations, and then share them with the appropriate endpoints, these organizations that care about it, even anonymously, because privacy is important.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
You can make a tangible difference without changing any of your daily activities. So that's like passive citizen science.
Okay, and the example there that immediately comes to mind is you say using sonar systems and various navigation equipment, saying you are here, here's the depth of the water and various other measurements.
Absolutely.
That data's okay, you've got it there for navigation and that's helpful, but why not share that data with Seabed 2030 or other initiatives that can use that data in a more wider context?
Exactly.
Because it's actually quite difficult to get hold of that data.
Exactly.
So whilst it's there, let's share it, let's use it, we can anonymize it to make sure it's still private.
Yeah, and to share one of my favorite buzzword statistics, back in 2017, we had mapped 99% of the surface of Mars at 6-meter resolution, but today we've only mapped about 26% of our ocean. And to get to that number, we needed to loosen that up to 100-meter resolution. And you can't navigate by that. Sure, there's some places with like high-res, really good surveys, but generally the world's oceans have not been mapped.
Yeah.
So we're sailing around blind. We're kind of blind from the science point of view. And Seabed 2030 is a UN initiative that is supported by the IHO to collect data from any source about the seafloor to build the bigger map, which also has a relation to yachting, because that was spearheaded by the Prince of Monaco more than 100 years ago to start the Jebco World Map. And one of those components is crowdsourced bathymetry, the citizen science. So your echo sounder that points straight down, you can get a little box. Seakeepers can facilitate that. The Yacht Club de Monaco can facilitate that. You plug it in, records your GPS, it records your echo sounder, Wi-Fi or an SD card. You can send the data, you can share it, and it'll be anonymized. For FarSounder customers, if you have one of our 3D forward-looking sonars, not only is it a real-time tool for you looking in front, we also build a map of everywhere you've been.
Right.
So when you come back, you know what to expect. And if you choose, our software allows you to anonymously share that map across the FarSounder fleet. You get the aggregate map of everybody else's data back.
Oh, nice.
And we send that to Seabed 2030, and it's all anonymous.
Right. Okay. Right.
So,
cool. So you got that customer kind of network effect, that added value.
Yeah.
Let's see where all the other devices have gone. So that's immediate benefit to them personally.
Yeah.
But then also the net benefit of this is not just kind of in a server somewhere for FarSounder product development. It's actually being shared and used for good reason and science. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really a great incentive because, like I said, Seabed 2030, their highest resolution is 100 meters. So 1 point every 100 meters. From a navigation point of view, like, you don't see the rock, you don't see the coral.
Yeah.
And so with FarSounder systems, if you contribute your higher res map, the high res map that we build everywhere you go, you get the aggregate high res imagery back from everybody else.
Yeah.
And we're still sending that 100-meter resolution to Seabed 2030, and that's available globally for free through the IHO's database.
Okay, and a question comes to mind. What's the distribution of where we are very familiar with the waters and where we're not so familiar? So in terms of the places that need exploring and need mapping, is that just really deep ocean? Is that really off-grid things? Is there quite a lot of mapping to be done in coastal regions? What's it like?
Everywhere. So obviously, deep ocean mapping is really hard because you need really specialized equipment. From a navigation point of view, it's not so exciting because
most of it's open water, so
whether
days.
it's 600 meters or 6,000 meters deep, you don't care. You're not going to
unless you're a submarine or you got a draft of 1,000 meters, you're okay.
Already shipwreck if you're a draft of 1,000 meters. But if you look at the statistics, only about 50% of coastal areas have ever been surveyed by modern standards. And modern standards is 1940s technology, which is no GPS.
Right, so I hope we got a lot better.
We're doing much better now.
Good,
but like,
good.
What's considered modern survey standards is 1940s technology, and only about 50% of coastal areas have been mapped. And the majority of that is in the main shipping channels. Because if you think about what is driving the economy of where should we survey, it's shipping and commerce.
Okay, yeah.
Yachts are in a unique position because
they go in different places.
Yeah, but also when you have guests on board, you're not hanging out in the shipping channel. You want to go into that cove, which, if you don't know the bathymetry, the depths there, scientists can't understand the currents perfectly and the flushing. So chemicals or red tide or pollutants, how long does it take for them to dissipate and get out of there? Without bathymetry, you can't do those calculations well. So when, even in places like Greece and Turkey, which are relatively not adventurous destinations, really poor charts.
Right, they need mapping. Yeah.
Yep. So the vessels need this capability, but you're also collecting really relevant, important citizen science data. Of course, if you're going exploring, high north,
even better. Right?
Even better. Yeah. Exactly. And plus, things change over time. So you did a survey back in 1987.
It's immediately out of date, but now it's...
Some places no, but some places absolutely yes.
Right, but certainly over time, things change, and so it needs remapping, it needs updating.
Correct.
And
it's not
it's a constant effort.
It's not a once and done. It's a continually needing to go through and update and improve our understandings. Polar regions with ice melting and ice sheets tearing off, you're now exposing new portions of the seafloor. And these giant icebergs have what's called an ice keel, a big portion of ice that hangs down, maybe more than one, it's not flat underneath.
Yeah.
And so those might drive through a structure, rocks and soil, not soil, but rocks and seafloor sediment And if that's drifting, maybe you surveyed there, now you've essentially trenched through there.
Right, yeah.
And it's different.
Right, so it's just like the formation of tarns off mountains and glacial erosion, stuff like that. The same thing happens under water level.
And you could be moving boulders, and you know, a relatively shallow area maybe used to be clearer, and now it isn't. Yeah. And with the changing in the polar regions, that is certainly accelerated.
Yeah. And you mentioned we need to talk about whale poo. I don't think I've had a guest come on and say we need to talk about poo.
Yeah,
So not whale poo. Why do we need to talk about that? Why is it interesting to you?
Okay, I'm going to back up a second.
Okay,
because really, this is all about whales in general. And so, have you ever seen a whale in person, up close on a small boat?
I don't think I have.
So,
in fact, I don't think I've ever seen any whales other than on TV and social media.
It is a transformational experience, I think. So we make forward-looking sonars for navigation, avoid things the vessels don't want to hit: rocks, whales, corals,
floating containers,
ice, stuff that goes bump in the night. You don't want to hit it. That's what we see.
Yeah.
And when we first formed FarSounder 24 years ago, whale ship strike was one of our early motivations. We're based in Rhode Island in the northeast of the US, and there's about 370 North Atlantic right whales left.
Yes.
And ship strike is one of the top 2 leading causes of death. And it's literally a boat or a ship hitting a whale and either killing it or hurting them, huge, massive negative impact. So that was like one of our motivations. And it turns out that that's a big deal for most of the great whales.
Oh, right, okay. So not just the right whales.
Here in the Eastern Mediterranean, there's the sperm whales. There's only about 200 to 250 of those left, with ship strike being the leading cause of death. The Western gray whales, we've already hunted all of the Eastern gray whales. There's none left in the Atlantic. Right. Western gray whales, about 300 left. Ship strike, top 2 reasons for their death. And so, of course, nobody wants to hurt a whale. Like, they're magical creatures.
Yeah, most people can empathize with that and go,
exactly.
I'd rather not.
Exactly.
for obvious reasons.
And so, through the course of my work, over the past few years, I've been involved in a number of whale research studies.
Yeah. And
I had the chance to spend multiple days at sea, pretty small boat. The biggest one we were on was about 14 meters, with 20-meter whales swimming around us. Yes. And sometimes we were the only boat out there off the coast.
Beautiful.
You could hear them when they surfaced. Sometimes you could smell them. And it was like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner. Like, this was amazing. And like, I got paid to do that. Like, that was work. Yeah. And it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, but what a motivation if you're doing these things and protecting them, then to see them and go, this is why you're on this mission. This is why FarSounder do so much to support them and avoid things like ship strike.
Exactly. And so I learned a lot about how to spot whales and identify them. And we had certified protected species observers on for many of the days at sea.
Okay.
But their job was basically to help us spot the whales.
Okay.
And after doing it, a day or two, you learn a lot pretty quickly when you're
right,
working
and you kind
with
of go,
experts.
okay, now this is what we need to think about and look out for and signs and where they're likely to be. Yeah.
So I learned a ton about that.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Obviously, we had to do all our work safely, so we learned a lot about how to navigate the vessel safely in those areas. And there's pretty strict regulations in the areas where we operated. And there's certainly best practices that should be followed everywhere, even if there aren't regulations. We learned a lot. And I realized whenever I spoke to someone about this, their eyes lit up. And so I decided to spearhead putting together an online training class that is basically all the things I learned, sharing that with the community. It's not a FarSounder class. We're not selling sonars. We're talking about whales, how to operate safely, how to learn about them. That means if you are contributing citizen science whale observations, your observations are way more valuable if you've had training. It's not I think I saw a whale over there.
Right. Yeah. So after this, they're then looking out for the right information, collect it when that opportunity arises.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just kind of sporadic information that might be useful, it might not.
Yeah.
They now know this is going to be important. Let's log that. Let's make sure it's reported.
And that's what brings us to whale poop.
Right. Yeah, we got there. Go on.
In the class, I'm making the class because I learned a lot about how to spot and identify them. I learned a lot about how to navigate safely around them.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm talking about the tools you can use, whether it's above water camera and radar systems, below water sensors like FarSounder's Argo series sonars. But I wanted to talk about more of the background about whales. So we included a little bit about the biology. I learned a lot about I'm not a whale biologist, but I learned a lot about it. And one of the things I learned about was more about the threats that whales faced and why we should care about it. And there's a process called the whale pump.
Okay.
And the whale pump is responsible for really 50% of the oxygen that we breathe, because phytoplankton are these microscopic little plants that are at the surface, in these upper regions of the water. They produce more oxygen than all the rainforests.
I've heard this before.
Yeah.
So, I always keep on forgetting it, but everybody jumps to rainforests and trees.
Yeah.
Actually, the volume of the ocean is quite large, and they're doing a lot of, I'm assuming it's photosynthesis.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Okay.
So phytoplankton produce roughly 50% of the oxygen we breathe and capture about a third of human-generated carbon. So they're really important. And what do these phytoplankton need for nutrients? Obviously sunlight, because they're near the surface. Turns out whale poop is where they get the nutrients from.
What?
And so the whale pump is, whales dive down deep to feed, not every type, but most of them.
Yeah.
They come back up to the surface to breathe because they're mammals, so they need air from the surface.
Yeah.
And while they're up there, they poop.
Right, okay.
And the poop is the primary nutrients for the phytoplankton. But the whales, many of them also eat krill, and krill is the primary predator of phytoplankton. So without whales, the krill would decimate all the phytoplankton.
Right, yeah, you can see the food chain coming together now, and if there's an imbalance, then one's going to thrive or die out. Or whatever.
And without the whale poo, you don't have the nutrients for the photosynthesis for the phytoplankton.
Yeah.
And
the krill get out of control and on kept at sensible levels. So the whales have got to be there to keep the whole cycle in balance.
And so, I'm not an expert in that, but I'm putting together the background for this class, and I'm like, holy cow,
we got to protect these whales.
And there's lots of scientific papers, there's a lot of outreach in the conservation community, in the environmentalist community. But looking around, no one's talking about this in the commercial maritime community, in the cruise ship community, in the yachting community. And I was like, this is the message we need to have in the class, and we need to talk about, because I like to breathe.
Yeah.
And so we need the whale poop. And as everyone knows, we have hunted so many whales. Fortunately now that is being reduced dramatically. There's not a lot of hunting. There's still some going on, but not a lot compared to what we did before.
Yeah.
And now there's somewhere between 20 and 25% of the number of whales that existed before commercial hunting. So that was, 200 years ago, maybe you could consider the start of that. And in 200 years, we've killed 75 to 80% of the whales.
That sounds pretty fast, yeah.
And we need them for the whale poop.
Right.
So, and to eat the krill. And I was like, wow, it's not just a feel-good, warm and fuzzy. This is a Earth-critical...
Quite a serious reality,
exactly.
yeah.
And with ship strike being one of the two leading causes of death for most of the great whales.
Right, you get to what can we do? Actually, yes, okay, hunting, obviously, let's do less of that, none of that, in fact. And then also, if it's top two causes of death or serious injury, then let's stop the ship strikes as well. And then we're in a better position to make sure they're still around for plenty of time.
Exactly. And so we talked about Seabed 2030 from the citizen science point of view.
Yeah.
But collecting whale observations without widespread comprehensive data on where are the whales, how many of them are there any calves, new babies joining the populations, are they dying off? Without that information covered globally, we don't know where to focus our relatively limited conservation resources.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of ways to collect that data. There's some work being done with satellite observations, good for some times, not for other times, good for some places, not for other places.
Yeah.
There are these robot gliders that are swimming through the oceans, listening
that's
for whale
cool.
calls.
Right. Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot of them.
They sound expensive. I
they're
don't know what they do and what tech's on board, but it sounds expensive.
Yep. They are obviously only detecting whales when the whales vocalize, and that's only part of the time.
Yeah, a small portion, yeah.
Some portion, a valuable portion.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not comprehensive
Not all the time.
everywhere.
Yeah.
There are aerial surveys done, particularly by the United States, but also some other countries where they have trained observers flying around looking for the whales and counting them.
Yeah.
And then observations from the public, citizen science. And there's great initiatives by Whale Alert and by Ocean Wise, where they have apps that you can download for your phone and see a whale.
Right.
click on it.
So getting kind of hobbyists involved and just contribute a little.
Exactly.
Whenever that opportunity comes up, like let's
But
make sure those opportunities are there.
when
yeah.
you have a lot of hobbyist data, it's valuable, but not as valuable as the trained observation. So instead of saying, I think I see a whale, if you can say, you know what, I saw a humpback, it was 2 adults, and I think I saw a juvenile with it.
Yeah.
That is way more valuable information. So if you take the class that I'm working on, and then you do the citizen science, like the value.
You're more value, yeah.
But it's also more interesting. Like when you're talking to
Yeah.
your friends, like, I saw a whale, or it's
Yeah,
really cool, I
that's
saw
great,
a baby
yeah.
whale. And
Yeah, and you know why it's in the area, or if it's migrating or moving or about to dive, like it makes for a better story. It's more interesting.
What type of whale did you see? Big one?
Yeah, big one.
Yeah, you know,
I think it was
that
blue.
was
It
a
might have
blue
been a
whale I
grey one.
saw.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not like homework to have to learn this stuff. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. For someone that cares, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And in that class, I recruited some guest hosts from a lot of great organizations, Water Revolution Foundation, Seakeepers, Yacht for Science. And the list just goes on and on of other organizations and people working in this community helping to spread the message.
Yeah.
So,
And then, so what's the mission going forward for that particular program? Just get as many people involved as possible.
exactly.
And really reinforce and expand how big and how powerful these databases are for conservation efforts.
Exactly. But it's also providing a greater value not only to the bridge crew, because it's more exciting when they can do that.
Yeah, true.
But now the guests on board say, "Oh, what was that over there?"
Yeah,
oh,
we want to be involved and like, being part of it. Yeah.
That was a whale. That was over there. Those were 3 minkies we just saw.
Right.
You
Okay.
can tell the difference. Yeah, you know, because minkies have this thing and sperm whales have that thing, and so it's providing a greater experience for the guests on board.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
The class, you can learn more at farsounder.com/whales,
Okay.
and it's just about to be launched. And nominal fee, all the proceeds we're going to be donating to a whale conservation organization. It's being developed in conjunction with Azora, which is a protected species observer services company that we worked with in some of those whale projects. So they're the legit whale scientists.
Right, yeah.
I'm just the talking head. Plus all the guest
legit
hosts.
scientists, but you help. You do your bit where you can.
Exactly. And then we're actually in conversations with IAMI about turning this into an accredited course and hopefully be part of their upcoming sustainability officer training programs that they're working on.
Right, so to be part of this is almost like a standard of
Exactly.
This is what really valuable research looks like, and this is how to carry it out.
Exactly.
So to be part of that guidance and get people doing it effectively is the mission there.
Day one is just, your own personal enrichment for all the values we just talked about.
Yeah.
But we anticipate working with IAMI, we're going to turn it into an accredited class as well, which is super exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting.
And,
that's cool.
Our focus is the bridge crew, but it can be the guests. It can be any of the other crew. Again, the interior crews, the deckies, they're also in it because of the excitement, the adventure, what they're going to see. And it's fun for them as well.
Yeah, because they have the same values. They'll care about the whales and they'll understand the cycle, the conservation, and seeing it and being around it. Why would they not? It makes perfect sense.
And we include some information about different citizen science initiatives. We also talk briefly about Yachts for Science and Seakeepers, if the vessel wants to do more than just this passive citizen science, and the passive citizen science is valuable.
Right, yeah. But they can do so much more.
You could do
and so
so
this
much
is going to
more as
say,
well.
this is how much more you can do. This is how accessible and easy it is.
Exactly.
Here's the benefits of doing it. And
exactly. And I talk about technologies you can have on board. Like I said, it's not a FarSounder class, but I obviously talk about how our equipment, if you already have it on board,
it can be a part of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And on that same topic, the newest versions of our software, we added citizen science observation logging to it. So if you see a whale or if you see floating trash, you just push the button in our software that you already have on board.
Right, and you kind of mark it and say that was there, that
you
was
can
seen.
get the apps and have to load the phone, make sure you have Wi-Fi. Absolutely do that too, but you don't need to do that if you already have one of our systems.
Right.
It's not really information we use for our products, but we have this cloud service that allows us to share the depth data anonymously. So we're piggybacking onto that, these crowdsourced observations of trash and whales.
Send right, aggregating the data, analyzing it correctly,
we're
in
not
a more
doing
easy way.
Analysis.
It's just provision of it.
We're facilitating that from our users, from their vessels and their crew.
Yeah.
Send it to our servers, we anonymize it, and then pass that on to IC for trash observations, which is an organization dedicated to not only tracking trash in the ocean, but now starting to develop micro businesses around the world to actually clean up some of that trash.
Yeah.
And then the whale observations, we'll be starting with sending them to Whale Alert and OceanWise, but I certainly anticipate in the future expanding that to other relevant conservation endpoints because it's important information.
There's so much to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the why not. Like, if everybody did the bare minimum that doesn't impact their day-to-day operations, that won't negate
the net effect of that would be hugely positive.
Correct.
And actually the workload and the strain on everyone would actually be relatively little.
Exactly. And it won't solve every problem. It won't find every scientific mystery, and it won't negate the total impact of operating a yacht, but it has a measurable and important contribution. So it's the why not. In my mind, like, why not be doing this?
Yeah. I love the sense of purpose around this, the using the technology, sharing data, like it all just makes sense on a commercial level as well as a conservation level, which I think is the way forward on the basis that people are incentivized to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And can do it tomorrow. It's not just like a constant effort that needs support and charitable giving and things. It can self-perpetuate.
Yeah.
Like I really love that.
Charitable giving, supporting these other research organizations are all really important
it
too.
helps, but we could do so much more if it's in systems like this
Exactly.
that are really cleverly constructed and supported.
And it's not just purpose to the crew on board and the guests. It's also purpose to the industry that's working in it. So I've been working at FarSounder 24 years since helping to found it. Our head of electronics, my electrical engineer, he's been with me for 23 of those 24 years. Our software engineering manager, 23 of those 24 years.
And you wonder why. It's because they've got a sense of purpose from the work they do.
Yeah.
It's not just, I don't know, whatever else, but they get the sense of this is what we've achieved today. We've made the world a better place, or just like a small little step to it.
Exactly. And, our products, I'm particularly proud of it because it's unique and has a clear operational value. But adding in beyond just the operational value, that purpose is really, really exciting. And I take it as a huge compliment that my friends Matt and Evan still want to work with me after 23 years. Like,
that's impressive. Like that level of loyalty, consistency, you can see that this really is a mission that means something to them.
Yeah.
And I hope it means a lot to the customers and anybody that's part of that system, whether it's the Seakeepers, the FarSounder team, the different people on board. Like it's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, we're pretty proud of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And as an engineer, it's fun working on unique new technologies.
Yeah. You got a new challenge the next day, and it's how do we solve this problem then? What can we do? Yeah.
And the big companies before us did not solve the shallow water navigation, what's underwater, before us. We had one big name giant company said, it's physically impossible. We tried for 20 years. It can't be done. And we said, oh, come out on the boat. We'll show you it working in real time.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah.
And that's, as an engineer, making a unique thing with repeat customers, and it's not required equipment. This is something that is chosen to go on your vessel beyond the bare minimum requirements. So to have repeat customers that said, we bought something extra and it provided the value that's important to us, is really, really satisfying.
Yeah, it's the ultimate testimony.
Yeah, and we're becoming standard options on a lot of different yacht brands and shipyards. We do about 50% refit, about 50% new build. So whether it's 5 years from now on that giant super yacht project, or hey, we're going into dry dock in 3 weeks. We're only going to be there for 5 weeks. I just found out about it. Can we get one now? Absolutely.
Yeah. Matt, thank you very much for your insights. I love your sense of purpose. I love everything you're doing. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Well, I appreciate the conversation. I always enjoy it. Thanks, Ben.
All right. Thank you very much. Everybody, that's another episode of the Ben Taylor podcast. We've been on board the beautiful boat, Perla Bianca, that's registered for sale with Arcon Yachts. Do take a look at it and send it to any colleagues that are involved in that space. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ben Taylor podcast, the home of marine industry insights. We'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.